Hey, what's up? It's your boy Luke Sanders, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Strucker Secrets for Season 9. Because today, by the time of this episode, you already know I'm talking about giving the talk college style. So I do have younger listeners. We have younger listeners. So I want you to do something for when I say younger, let's keep it okay. Talking about young adults, okay. I have younger listeners, so I want to do something to get y'all ready for school, to get y'all ready for college, okay. Whether you're going back to college, whether you're going back to college like you left for a while, or whether you're going back, for the school year, whether you're going for the first time, I wanted to do something for you, and I wanted to do something fun, okay? It's not going to just be like finger waving or like bullet points or like PowerPoint or, anything like that. It's gonna be fun. So make sure you get into it. So go ahead and buckle on up because it's going to be fun, okay? You learning with a twist. So I first want to say, credit cards, financing. I think financing was the biggest or the hardest thing that I dealt with in college because depending on what route you're going, whether you're paying or your parents are paying or both, or you have financial aid. I have financial aid, and it was difficult because I'm the type of person who likes to dot every I, cross every T, and do what I need to do. But even with that, for whatever reason, things would occur, which I know that's life. But when it comes to finances, and there's no I don't mean like other fees were accrued, just for whatever, things will just happen, and I'll have to talk to financial aid a lot. I'm like, okay, I already had this done before I came. What's T? Why is this not this person? Why is this amount? Because we already had checked, nothing accrued, but now this is seeming like there's more. So make sure that you just stay in communication with your financial aid and make sure that you are, keeping the books, basically, like looking at it, and don't let that stress you as much as you can. But I think had I known that could be a big part of it, which in hindsight, duh. But I guess I didn't know it was going to be such a big part because you got to pay for your housing, you got to make sure that you get your meal plans, you got to pay for tuition, you got to pay for books, right? And then if you don't pay on time, you can't register for classes for the next semester. Then you can have a hold, and then you can have that put on your credit, and you just want to make sure you're right, make sure you got you some income going, whether your parents are paying or not. Even if your parents are giving you income and paying on yourself, I would still suggest having a little dime bag for yourself, because parents have to cut their children off if they doing something that they don't like, which I get it. Like, you spending your money, you want to make sure they're on the right track. Not to on the right track. Like, some parents literally cut their kids off because of who they dating, or because they're queer, or because of this. So you just want to make sure that you're good. You got you some on the side, okay? And yeah, whatever relationship you have, whether it's with financial aid at your school or with the government, you want to make sure you have an open line of communication, and you want to make sure that you are squared away. You want to double check your stuff, and you want to be in a healthy situation. If your parents are paying, you don't want them to hold stuff over your head, which a lot of parents try to do, because you're at that murky age of you are grown now, but you're still a teenager, and you're newly grown, so you're trying to figure out what that means for you. They're trying to figure out what that means, as your parent in your relationship. So give them some grace, but yeah, this definitely be a healthy relationship. Now, when it comes to the sexual aspect, some people want to preach abstinence. Some people want to preach get it. I just say whatever you choose, just use wisdom and to use protection, okay? Not giving somebody protection or talking to somebody about protection is not going to stop them from having sex. It's just going to stop them potentially from, having safe sex. So make sure that you learn how to put a condom on, and do not reuse your condoms, okay? That's going to just don't do that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I think there was a question on Family Feud, and somebody answered a used condom. So I'm sorry, that was just fresh in my mind about condoms. That was just so weird to me. Just make sure you have a nice amount. Listen, I ain't trying to tell nobody to do it. I ain't trying to tell nobody not to do it, because that's not my choice. But if you're going to do it, just make sure you at least have an idea of the person you're meeting with. Because it is going to be different when you're having sex with girls. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but there's always going to be a chance of pregnancy. So there's even more that goes into that. You definitely want to know who, you're having sexual relations with. You want to use protection to prevent, and this is obvious, but some people only use protection because they don't want to get somebody pregnant, which I get. But you also want to use protection to keep yourself safe, to keep yourself safe from any sexual health concerns. And yeah, you want to make sure that you're putting it on correctly, because you can have it on, but you might not have it on correctly, so it can defeat the whole purpose. You don't want to be using the used one, because that's going to defeat the purpose as well. And a condom is not. If you see them friends, Ross lost it. Okay, condoms are not 100% preventable. Like they don't present. Condoms do not prevent pregnancy 100%. They come very close to the 90%, right? But they don't prevent pregnancy. So just remember, that. Make sure you know that, and know that your hormones are gonna hormone. Okay, I know that puberty is a joke between guys, and they try to make fun of other guys. Puberty sometimes lasts into your 20s. Even if you're in the end stages, you still can notice some stuff changing. And your full frontal cortex is not going to finish forming until you're 25. So you're not going to have it all together. And that is perfectly fine. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to bump your head. Your hormones are going to hormone. You're going to want to do stuff I won't say that you should, because it's your choice. But you're going to want to do stuff that, your parents maybe not want you to do. Or you're going to actually do it, or both. But just know when you go to college, there's going to be a lot of people. So your nose is going to be wide open. You always got to be with the first person, who you see, or who. Just chill. They're not going nowhere. You got a whole 2 to 4 years, or depending on your degree, 6 to 8 years that you're going to be there. So just chill. I know it's new. But, you want to watch your reputation. You want to watch who you're with. You want to watch your sexual health. So just, so just make sure that you're good in that aspect. And make sure that you're dressing how you want to, present yourself how you want. I know it can be overwhelming with papers and projects. That's probably the most, sometimes homework, depending on the professor. But the projects and the papers take the longest. So just make sure that you're mindful of what you wear, because and it's not about keeping up with the status quo or trying to be dressed to the nines. But especially when you're new in college, you don't want to come in there looking frumpy, child. You want to come in there looking nice, because that's your representation. You want to look nice. You don't want people. If you don't take your look serious, they don't take you serious. Your professors, your students, they'll clown you. You know what I mean? So, not even on no egotistical stuff or stuff like that, but just put some care into how you look, and make sure that you're eating well, because that freshman 15. Listen, I heard the freshman 15 is real. I'm thick. I gained weight when I went home. I lost weight when I went. So I guess the freshman 15 was real for me when I lost weight. So ain't that crazy? Because family, they like to fry food and do all this stuff and, eat not the healthiest. For me, I ate a lot of lunch meat sandwiches with, vegetables. And they had a salad bar. And believe it or not, I loves me a good salad. Okay, so I will tear that salad bar up. So just make sure you're mindful of that. Whatever you do eat, if you eat unhealthy, do it in moderation. You got to eat your produce. You got to get your hydration in, because you will not be able to succeed being dehydrated and hungry at a time. That is very real. Okay, you're doing too much, and balance is key, child. So make sure you have balance. Make sure you have support where you can get it. They have counselors on campus. They have all kind of groups and clubs. Make sure you find your niche. That was probably one of the hardest things for me, because I'm such a people's person. And I love people, and I love to have fun. It was just very hard for me to, not even just to find my niche, but to keep my niche. Because people kind of finicky. It's college. They want to test everything out. They don't want to be a real friend. They just want to be whatever. Be a friend to whoever, and just be on the wave. So it can be hard, but it can be true. Make sure you feel fulfilled. Make sure you're doing something on the side, a hobby. Don't lose your hobbies now. You might not be able to do as much as you want to, because you're more busy. But try to do something that you enjoy. Try to find something that you enjoy. Find yourself in a way. Find yourself with dating. Find yourself with what you like to wear, what you like to eat. Because this is probably going to be the first time that you're away from your family for an extended period of time. So it might be scary. It might be lonely. But on the flip side, it could be very explorative. And it could be very eye-opening. So try to take that time to get to know yourself. And make sure you stay focused, child. Make sure you do what you need to do with your classwork, because you can get behind so fast. It is college, so they do not play. You can get extensions, but they only give you so much grace, okay? So make sure you're paying attention, taking your notes, child. But nowadays, you really don't even have to take notes. They have the sides already done, so that's loverly. That is loverly. Make sure you're studying. Make sure you learn what you should, make sure you learn your study patterns and what works for you. For me, it's better for me to study, depending on what it is. The night before and the day before, I was right because I got to be on that test. So that's my study thing. That's my study habit. Studying the night before and the day of, so it can be super fresh in my brain. And make sure you stay organized and stay balanced. And make sure you tune out the noise and the drama as much as you can. And make sure you take your breaks. Okay, they give you breaks about every month. Make sure you take your breaks and your lunch breaks and make sure you have enough time to yourself to regroup, to chill, to have fun, and then to chill and have fun with your friends. With the parties, y'all, just be safe, okay? Especially in places where marijuana is not legal. Whether you're doing it or not, usually somebody's gonna have it. Cops get called. You never know what can happen. And then you got alcohol with people drinking under age. You never know what can happen with that. So just be wise, be mindful of the company that you keep and where you go. And if you're going somewhere and somebody's going to have your back, I don't mean taking a fall for you, like, taking a blame when something happened. But I mean, like, are they going to make sure you're okay? They're going to make sure you get out okay? Are they going to make sure, listen, you grown. You can do what you want to do. But if you do get drunk or sloppy drunk, are they going to make sure you're good and nobody can take advantage of you? And just be wise, y'all. Use wisdom in whatever you do, and watch your drinks, whether you're drinking water or something else. Watch your drinks. Make sure that they're closed because you don't want anybody putting it in there because date rape is very real. And make sure you understand the business of college. Back to what I was saying at first. Make sure that you apply ahead of time so that you won't be rushing. And make sure you get you a good housing assignment, and make sure that you know where you're going before you graduate, hopefully. I know that's not always the case, but that is ideal, that you want to know before you're graduating. And make sure that you're preparing for your dorm, saving up money for this, preparing for that, because it can hit you all at once, and you don't want it to hit you all at once. I mean, like, getting your stuff, but it is going to hit you like, oh my God, I'm leaving my family, I'm going to college. There's so much excitement there, and there's so much fear there. It's like, ooh, I'm excited, but I ain't never lived without my family. That's a lot. That's a big step. Because it's in the world, it's almost like they expect the switch to go off when you're 18. And that's really not real. Like, just like when you was a kid and you became a teenager, the switch didn't go off. Like, oh, I'm a teenager. Like, no, like, it takes time. Like, between you turning 17 and 18, it's not like, oh, I'm 18. Like you still learning. Like, part of your mind, you still feel like you're a kid. Because you've been a kid longer than you've been an adult. So just give yourself a lot of grace, okay? Give yourself a lot of grace, plan well. Make sure that don't get a whole bunch of credit cards. If you get a credit card, it's good to establish credit because zero credit is not good. So use your credit card like gas or something miscellaneous for something that's consistent to build your credit. Do not max out your cards unless you absolutely have to, because that interest is very real and has gotten higher through the years. And you want to make sure that you're getting what you need. Don't just use your credit card being frivolous. So yeah, don't have too much fun, but don't be too serious. Make sure your business is right. But yeah, and then more of the fun stuff. So the fun stuff for college, you're gonna see a lot of fineness. You're gonna see a lot of fineness. Okay, it's gonna be a lot of fine people there. The recreation centers usually are really big and fun. The parties, it's always like I was waiting for something to happen. Like they were so dull. And when I say something to happen, I don't mean like it gotta get like, not like it's off the ramp or it's off the wall. It was just always lackluster to me. I'm like, yeah, just drinking and smoking. What else? Like that was it. So some stuff can be overrated. And with sex, don't rush into it because it is not going nowhere. We are in a world where sex sells and people love sex, okay? And I can't, I've talked about some of my explorative experiences in the past, but sex is not going nowhere, okay? Parties ain't going anywhere. So just make sure you use wisdom, because listen to Raven, okay? She was in the club, she was doing what she was doing, but nobody never knew until she talked about it years later, until she in her 30s now. So, just make sure you're using wisdom, because the cops, they love to call the cops child, okay? The neighbors the party's getting crunk, even though it's the weekends, it's late at night, they love to call the cops child. So make sure that you're good, and make sure that you got some of your people, okay? Because you want to make sure you got people you can trust, and you don't want to be alone, okay? The other fun stuff, I took that's very Luke nature, what I'm about to say. I took a quick solo trip for my spring break, and then I'm trying to figure out these dates, child. And then I went and worked in radio for 5 days, so all the weekdays for my spring break, and then that second weekend, I think I went out of town and then back in 24 hours because a family member had surgery. So make sure you have. I was going to say, like, the spring break trips I hear are fun. Mine was fun / family / work, but make sure that you are doing stuff that you are going to enjoy. Don't do too much, but you can't find a balance until you actually figuring it out. So you might be doing too much at first, but just give yourself grace and make sure you're, in my opinion, have a spiritual relationship, because you need something to anchor you, and have fun, but not too much fun. So I hope that this felt laid back and fun as much as it could. I wanted to give you the nitty gritty. But not too long. I wanted to hit it and quit it, and kind of offer a fun perspective. Hope you got that from this episode. Make sure that you keep tuning in to Struggle Secrets for brand new episodes every Friday. Make sure that you comment on our Spotify and on our socials, and make sure you follow us on our socials at Struggle Secrets. And I'll see you next time.